Hello everyone, my name is Simon.
Hi everyone, my name is Rosita Wadialo.
Hello, good people. My name is James Bisson.
So we are group number 4. This time we're gonna do our second video presentation on our case, which is Hoffman engineering accidents. So I'll be starting our presentation on the Hoffman engineering workplace accidents. Uh, our case examines how ethical failures, cognitive biases, and system weakness lead to the two tragic facilities at the same site. One is in 2019 and another one is in 2025. Despite previous warning and penalties, throughout this case, we explore how engineers and leaders can move beyond compliance towards a truly ethical safety culture. Hoffman Engineering is a major Australian company that designs and services heavy industry equipment used in mining, energy, and transport sectors. In 2019, a worker was fatally crushed by a 40-year-old welding machine that lacks both maintenance records and an operating manual. The company was fined about like 500,000 Australian dollar, but 6 years later, in 2025, another fatality occurs at the same facility. This raises serious concerns about leadership accountability, the strength of safety systems, and whether legal compliance alone is enough to protect the workers. Our first theme focused on the cognitive and the subconscious biases, which strongly shape the decision-making in this case. Over time, employees and supervisors began normalizing unsafe equipment, believing nothing bad had happened yet, so it must be safe. This is what Module 1 calls normalization of device within complex systems. Management also showed sunk cost and status quo bias, choosing to continue using old machinery because replacing it would be expensive or disruptive. According to the Module 2 leadership and ethical leaders must change inertia and resist decision driven purely by convenience or profit. This was also another key bias was authority bias. Workers hesitate to question managers' decisions or raise safety concerns, which connect to the Module 2 on moral courage and whistleblowing. There's also strong optimism bias after the 2019 fine. Management assumed they had learned their lesson, but another tragedy was unluckily, which is Module 1 uncertainty. Finally, the overconfidence in experience. Many senior workers trusted their intuition rather than maintenance data, while less in Module 3 ethical boundaries. Altogether, this bias turned compliance into compliancy. So, in short, Hoffman's leadership made the letter of the law, but not its ethical spirits, a key tension between legal compliance and moral responsibility. Next, my teammate Rosita will explain how this bias contributes to systematic issues that allow the same mistake to repeat.
Thank you, Simon. Building on what you just explained about human and cognitive biases, I'll focus on the system issues present that allow those unsafe practices to continue at Hoffman Engineering. The system issues at Hoffman Engineering shows that accidents rarely come from one person's error. Instead, they happen when multiple weaknesses align, just like in Reason's Swiss cheese model we learned in Module 1. In Hoffman's case, those weaknesses appeared across the organization, from poor documentation to weak supervision, and they created conditions where an accident was almost guaranteed. Next. At the organizational level, Hoffman didn't have an updated asset register or proper documentation for its equipment. Manuals were missing and maintenance histories were incomplete. Leadership mainly focused on productivity and cost efficiency rather than building a reliable safety system. This connects with Module 1, Systems and Uncertainty, where we learn that a weak system structure and lack of accountability increases risk. It also breaches the APEGA ethical duty to prioritize public safety. Next slide. At the supervisory level, Hoffman's leadership failed to turn safety reports into real action. Audits and safety checks were treated as paperwork, not meaningful controls. Communication between teams were also weak. This connects directly to Module 2, Leadership and Ethics, which taught us that ethical leadership requires moral courage. Supervisors must ensure follow-up and take responsibility for closing safety gaps. Hoffman supervisors didn't do that, which shows a major leadership ethics failure. Next slide. At the operational level, Hoffman relied on workers' experience instead of structured safety processes. Maintenance was reactive. They fixed things only after they broke. Workers weren't required to complete pre-start safety checks, and communication between departments were weak. This connects with Model 3, Design for Safety, which emphasizes designing safety into the process. Hoffman's approach failed ethically because it depended on luck and habit, not on preventive engineering design. This section demonstrates how weak safety systems can silently normalize danger. It's a reminder that ethical engineering is about designing reliable systems that protect people, not just responding when things go wrong. With that, I'll pass on to my teammate James to discuss the key lessons and recommendations.
Thank you so much, Rosita. After every incident, there is a lesson to be learned. There are things to be known. Management commitment is paramount. The incidents demonstrate that the top-down commitment to safety is essential. Without it, safety procedures become a formality rather than a core value. And every system, every organization have to have safety as a core value. Preventive maintenance is critical. Routine thorough maintenance for all machine. This should be done like at least each and every day before every machine is used. It should be checked in order to know its state, especially the older ones must be non-negotiable. Waiting for accidents to happen is catastrophic. Genuine worker consultation is vital. Effective safety management requires that workers feel empowered to identify and report hazards without fear. Immediately they see them, they should go to the organization and report them, and also they should be credited for doing that. A system for genuine worker consultation and feedback is essential for addressing on the ground risk. Next slide, please. Learn from past mistakes. That's how we live. That's how we should live our lives. Repeated fatalities at the same site point to a failure to learn from prior incidents. Every accident investigation must lead to systematic changes to prevent reoccurrence. We use the past to correct the future. Robust change management. When equipment is brought out of storage or processes change, the proper procedures for inspection, maintenance, and training must be strictly followed. For me, I think manuals should be created in order to do that procedure. Next slide, please. Thank you. Establish independent safety management to address the inherent conflict between production and safety. Independent safety boards need to be allocated in order to come correct or to come manage this, because if it's the company that does it, there will definitely be biases towards that. Implement a speak-up culture. Management must actively encourage and protect workers who report unsafe conditions. This could include whistleblower protection, anonymous reporting systems, and incentive for identify hazards. Conduct comprehensive safety audits independently, and an independent in-depth safety audit should be conducted to assess all equipment, procedures, and safety culture. These results must lead to concrete documented corrective actions. And there must another procedure was the future actions to be taken. It must occur in the plan, check, and do system, where the management safety policy must anchor to the form. It must lead to formulation of safety targets and plans, where it has to be executed, and measurement, monitoring, and evaluation and improvement. This is how the management and the employees they are supposed to work. They have to formalize worker representation, implement worker safety, and help representatives who are democratically elected and have the authority to halt unsafe work and participate in safety organization. Integrate safety into core values. Safety must be established as non-negotiable, not just a part thing to be done, but a core principle in the system. Next slide. Conclusion. The two fatalities of Hoffman engineering show how human biases, weak maintenance system, and leadership inaction can combine to cause preventable strategies. True safety requires both mindset and structure. By implementing clear accountability, engineering verification, and a culture where employees feel safe to speak up, Hoffman can move from the compliance to lasting safety resilience. And finally, we have our references. Thank you.